Hello, and welcome to another episode of What Nobody Told Me After 65. It is your lady on the go, lady in the know, Miss Info. You are at the Information Nation, where knowledge is shared and wisdom exchanged for the betterment of a people. Today, I want to talk to you about dealing with grief. When you are unhappy, dealing with the loss of a loved one, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. Actually, the more you understand the grief process, the better equipped you are to cope with it. Grief is the response to loss. It's what we feel. It is emotional suffering that you feel when something or someone you love is taken away. This pain can disrupt, interrupt, and interfere with your physical well-being, making it difficult to sleep, eat, or even to think straight. Dealing with the loss of someone or something you love is one of life's biggest blows, particularly if it's the death of someone close. However, any type of loss can be traumatic, and you may experience different levels and different intensities of grief. For instance, the loss experienced during a divorce or a breakup is very different from the loss of a job or a friendship, a pet, a miscarriage, financial stability, loss of your sense of security if you have a break-in. Somebody break into your space and take something from you, you lose something. I've had that happen. All these elicit different types of grief experiences. It's personal, it's crushing, and it hurts. You should not feel ashamed at how you feel or how you grieve and what you believe is acceptable to other people. Everybody has an opinion. You shouldn't feel this way. You shouldn't feel that way. You should be over it already. How you feel is how you feel. And how you behave is how you behave. Even subtle losses in life can trigger some feelings of grief, like moving away from home for the first time. Graduation. Your kids are graduating and moving on, moving into college dorms. That gives you a sense of loss. Or when you have to leave after you've been to visit with family members and they leave, you experience a sense of loss. Whatever the loss, it's normal to react. Today, I learned of the death of a former in-law. I was very close to him. And I think they delayed telling me because they weren't sure how I was going to react. Again, thinking for me. But the delay made me the last one to know. And so I missed the opportunity to pay my final respects and for closure. For some people, you need closure. Right after I got that information, my former fiance lost his firstborn child today. I was prepared in advance for this one. This was a possibility that she would not recover, but it still hurt because you can never prepare for loss. You can brace yourself for it, but you don't know how you're going to react once you hear it, once you accept it. You have to come to terms with it. But when it happens, you really have no idea how you will respond. Believe it or not, there is a grieving process. Yes, you go through a couple of stages of grief. The only thing that is for certain is it takes time. It cannot be forced or hurried. Healing will come gradually. How you grieve depends on many factors: your personality, your coping style, your life experiences, your faith, and how significant the loss is to you personally. There are some myths associated with grief. Here's one of them. The pain will go away faster if you ignore it. Ignoring the pain will only make it get worse. You need to deal with it so that you can move through the processes, the phases of grief. Here's another myth. You have to be strong. Crying does not mean you are weak. Cry if you want to. That was a song. Another myth. If you don't cry, you didn't care. Really? There are many other ways of experiencing grief, and crying is only one of them. How about this? Grieving should only last about a year. You should be over this in about a year. There's no specific time frame for grief. It's different for everybody. When I lost my first cousin many years ago, we were very close. We were so close, I took the driving test for her and took the picture, and it was on her license, but it was my face. I missed her. I got married, I moved away, and then I found out that she was terminally ill. So when I came back home, and I was working for the local government, and I had been taking her shopping. She was very frail, and the people had been coming in. I didn't really understand hospice, I think, at the time, but they'd been coming in, and the nuns had been coming and staying with her. And when they called me to tell me that she had passed, I lost it right at work. I had no idea that I would react the way that I did. And I tell you what, it's been more than 25 years. And I feel like it was yesterday. I can still experience the pain I felt. There are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, depression, bargaining, and finally acceptance. If you are in any one of these stages, it's understandable. Just try not to stay in any one stage too long. It's called a process for a reason. You must move through each process in order to heal. Emotional stages of grief may include shock, disbelief, sadness, guilt, and fear. And sometimes anger. We're angry. We want to know why. Why did this have to happen? There are also physical symptoms of grief: fatigue, nausea, weight loss or weight gain, aches and pains, and insomnia. If you feel you are not proceeding through the steps at a pace that is leading you toward healing, perhaps you should speak to somebody. Turn to your friends and family or speak to your clergyman. Join a support group. Talk to a therapist. I will put some resources in the comments. And here's a final thought. You don't get over it, you just get through it. You don't get by it because you can't go around it. It doesn't get better, it just gets different. Every day, grief puts on a new face. That's a poem by Wendy Varieties. Be kind. Be patient with yourself or with someone who's experiencing grief. We're not here to stay, but it's how we deal with it that helps us to continue to go on. Remember, you don't know what you don't know. Thank you for listening.